So hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Gabriella's Journey. And I just wanted to come on here and say, for one, excuse my messy hair. Just got back from the gym and don't have that much time to record and things, so I wanted to come up on here and just record a video for you all. Um, I really wanted to post this clip, and before I post the clip, I felt like I should kind of preface as to why I'm posting this clip of me, because I'm in a very emotional state. And it's been a little bit over a week since I recorded that initial clip that you're about to watch. And I don't know, I feel like I just want to get more personal with you guys, and I really want to just share more of my stories in life. And I'm 24, about to be 25 in January, and I just really want to like open up with all of you and just be more vulnerable and share some of my life experiences. If you guys don't know, or this is one of your first videos watching me, I'm actually a 24-year-old mom. I actually got pregnant when I was 20 years old, and I was in college when I got pregnant. It was also during COVID, and I actually did graduate with my undergrad. I graduated in human development and family sciences, and then I went ahead and I did decide to get my master's degree. I jumped as soon as I ended and graduated with my bachelor's, and I jumped right into my master's. And um, I worked a 9 to 5 job. I did for a period of, being in grad school. I worked as a behavior tech, a behavior therapist, um, working with kids with ASD, autism spectrum disorder, and I eventually quit that job and then went into becoming a graduate instructional assistant for my professor, and I did that up until I graduated. Not too long ago. I actually graduated this year in 2024 in May. And now I'm here, and now I've decided to take an endeavor of making more creative, of becoming a freelance makeup artist, which is kind of the biggest thing of what my channel has turned into, and as well as um, I've been learning to do acrylic nails. I have the blur on, but these are honestly trash. I'm not that proud of them, but I'm just still practicing, and I do want to offer becoming like nail tech as part of my services. However, I'm still practicing, so there's kind of that. I also have my hand mannequin. If you want to see her, I might record. Oh, her hand just fell off. But one of her fingers looks like that. 3D flower. So yeah, I am practicing. So if you guys want to see any content of me practicing and like doing acrylic nails with like the proper setup, just let me know, and I can I'd be very happy to kind of bring you guys into my journey of being a beginner nail tech. If that's something that you guys are interested in. But yeah, so basically I've kind of there's been talk on YouTube that I've been watching a lot of videos about having a quarter life crisis, I think is what it's called. Like, you're being 25, you're in your mid 20s, and you're having a life crisis, and like, what do I want to do in life? It's getting to where I'm almost 30 in 5 years, and is this really what I want to be doing for the rest of my life? And I had my quarter life crisis while I was in grad school, working for my professor, and like, the quarter life crisis has been creeping up for a little bit. I feel like when I was pregnant, I basically went frozen. And I can go into, that's another story for another day. I don't have time to discuss that. But if you guys want to hear about my reflection on my pregnancy and my journey and becoming a mom and all that, and how I got pregnant and how I told my mother and things like that, I can definitely make that video for you guys. But for right now, we're just talking about when I was pregnant. Like, I felt like my self-identity journey kind of got frozen and stuck, and that I was just, growing this baby, thinking about like, okay, I jumped into getting my master's degree because I thought like if you don't know what I got my master's degree for, it's the same thing as my undergrad, human development and family sciences. I did a focus on research, and I did a whole thesis in grad school, but basically when I was pregnant, I applied to grad school because I wanted to, get a higher paying job with my degree that I got in my bachelor's, because there's a lot of shame put on people that, go get their undergrad or they get their master's in something and then they don't use their degree. And you don't have to go to master's to have this issue. You can go to undergrad and graduate with like a nursing degree. I mean, I feel like a lot of nurses use their degrees, but so like you get a psychology degree or a visual arts degree or whatever, I don't know. And people get upset at other people when they don't actually utilize their degree. But then there's also shame. Like, if, for example, if you do get a visual arts degree, you get literally pooped on because people tell you, like, oh, well, what are you going to do with that? Even my own degree, human development and family sciences, people would be like, oh, what can you do with that degree? Are you going to be, like, a teacher? And it's a lot of just working with children, which I thought I wanted at the time before I had my son. And then I had my son, and then I realized that I actually... I love my son. I love, like, teaching him and, like, learning all the things that I've learned working with children before. But, I just want to put all my energy into my own child. I don't want to put all my poor heart and soul into energy into other children. I'm sorry. But just because I've been through my own personal trauma as a child, and I, at the end of the day of work, at the end of my 9-to-5 job when I worked as a behavior therapist, I would come home so drained. And that I didn't want to cook. I just wanted to vibe. And I was like, is this what my rest of my life is supposed to be? Like, it doesn't even matter. Like, then I started to think, okay, even if after I get my master's degree and I get, like, a corporate job downtown, I'm still going to have to drive on the highway forever, be stuck in traffic for up to 2 hours, an hour, and then come home. And then, like, it's just live the SpongeBob SquarePants life. And I don't, like, if you've ever seen that meme about the, like, are you coming to bed, honey? That's what it felt like my life was turning into. And I was like, I am literally, I'm sorry, trigger warning, but I felt literally like I don't think I could survive, like, my own brain if I lived the same mundane, boring life every single day. And maybe, I've thought about maybe I have, like, ADHD. Maybe even I'm a little bit autistic. I don't know. But I was like, I literally can't. Like, I literally cannot. I'm sorry for saying literally so many times. But I just felt like I was going to dig my own grave if I had to keep working that 9-to-5 schedule. I could not. I was going to be unhappy. And if you don't know, I don't think I've ever talked about it online like this, but, I do want to be more vulnerable and open. So... and be like a big sister. Yeah. My father actually took his own life when I was about 13. Actually, I was 13. It's not funny. I just, so I cope with things. But yeah, my dad took his own life when I was 13, and that has had significant impacts on my life, needless to say, for the rest of my life. And, I was thinking, like, I hate this job so much, like, I don't want to end up like my dad, crying on the highway every single day, like, before and after work. Like, it was miserable. And I just knew that this wasn't for me. So then I started to get the idea that I want to be more of a creative. I want to do more creative work. And it's part of the reason why I made this YouTube channel. I called it Gabriella's Journey to... reflect my journey as an individual. A lot of the time growing up, my voice did not matter. And that's part of the reason why I'm uploading this clip, because I feel like, it's just me reflecting in my life, and hopefully other people can relate. but I was a really emotionally abused, and emotionally neglected child. Through almost about 6 months of therapy, I have come to realize that. And still as an adult, I still deal with my emotionally abusive and emotionally neglectful mother. And I know it's not physical abuse. I did endure physical abuse, actually. Maybe not as some extreme as I've heard and what my mom's told me she has experienced, but it still does numbers on somebody's mind. Like, abuse, neglect is so painful and creates so many wounds, whether it be physical, sexual abuse, trauma, whether it be physical abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse. It's all like really impactful and detrimental to one's physical but also psychological well-being, and I have definitely seen that in myself. I lost my sense of identity, and so when I was in college, I was just picking things that, I felt like I kind of liked, but I didn't truly know myself. And when I think about my childhood self, I've always liked things like design and creativity, and I've always been an avid YouTube watcher since I was 8 years old in 2008. And, I've always wanted to make my own content. I used to pretend to make my own content. And I would upload it to nothing, but now, I feel like I'm finally validating that younger self in me who never got the encouragement to pursue my actual passions in life. I like doing nails because it's like designing, it's fun. It's something that's, you can see it as you go and change, and you're just creating something. It's kind of like a little art piece. If you can tell, I like to paint. I've actually painted that painting back there, and the one above it, the red one, the wooden one, is a sign I got from Hobby Lobby, so don't mind that. But I do like to paint and things, and I feel like part of my healing journey in healing my childhood trauma is to connect with my younger self. But I thought, I want to be happy in life. I want to do something that makes me happy. And I think all along, I've always wanted to fall in my creative endeavors, whether it be uploading content, being a makeup artist, being a nail tech. I've always wanted to go in that sort of direction. I used to watch hours and upon hours of nail art videos when I was like 10 and would not get bored. But when I reflect and think about around the time my father died, I shut out all creative outlets. I stopped reading. I stopped playing for fun with makeup, with design. Like, I used to pretend to design clothes and things. And I've just been so far disconnected from myself for probably the past 10 to 11 years. I've been just so disconnected from myself. And it's only within this last year that I have been fighting for myself. I have been fighting for who I am. And this is all, if we're going to take it back to psychology, this should be done as a youth, like as an adolescent. But because of all my abuse and neglect, I have not figured this out and what I truly like to do until my quarter life crisis. And I'm glad it's happening now rather than when I'm like 40 years old and things are really harder and things are really more difficult. Part of the reason why I'm thinking about going really low contact with my mother is because every time as an adult I want to redo our relationship, basically. And every time I don't see my mom for a period of time, for a couple weeks or so, or a week goes by, and then I see her again, I get beaten down a little bit. Usually I keep our meetings relatively not that long, but this past, weekend, I went out with her and my sister. My sister has moved into college, and I think she needed to go do some things. where she was going to school and she needed help with some things, so I went with. Was that my mom was giving me side-eyed comments about, oh, you should have done that in school, or like someone said, oh, they study general education, and then my mom said, oh, you should have done that. And there was just a lot of that, like, oh, you should have studied this or that, because my mom is trying to, ever since I graduated in May, my mom has been trying to get me to get a job, a regular 9-to-5 job. To be fair, I haven't spoken to my mom. I haven't directly told her that I don't want a 9-to-5 job, and that does not make me happy. But I feel like the amount of kickback and argument, my mom is so, like, there's no amount of getting through to this woman. I mean, I feel like I will probably tell her, like, directly, like, I don't want to work a 9-to-5 job. But my mom's reactions to things are so emotionally abusive in the fact that she is super reactive. She does not give me space to speak. She does not give me space to articulate my thoughts and my feelings, nor does she care about my feelings. She just cares about really the fact that I went to school for something and I'm not getting a job under that. And that is making her so mad that she wants to yell at me and cuss me out. She's saying, why didn't you study something that you were interested in the first place? And I'm like, because what started the whole fight with my mom was that I was bringing up that I wanted to do my sister's nails and practice on her. And then my mom said, why didn't you go to school for something that you're interested in? Meaning, like, oh, if you're interested in that, why didn't you go to cosmetology school? And I said, well, she was basically insinuating that, or saying, why didn't you go to school for something that you're interested in? And I'm like, well, I didn't want to go to college to begin with. And, I said that angrily, and I can see how she can misinterpret that. But my problem with my mom is that she does not let me speak. She does not let me give me air to articulate and explain my thoughts. She sees things as black and white. And so when I say, oh, I never wanted to go to college to begin with, she's literally taking it as that. And it's a lot more nuanced and it's a lot more complicated than that. I did not know that I wanted to go to college. Like, I did not know that I didn't actually want to go to college. At the time when I was going into college, I thought that's what I wanted. That's always what been explained to me, is that, college is going to set you up for life. It's going to make you successful. And I also had a GI Bill scholarship that I felt like I could not pass up. I got that from my father. So I felt like, I can't just drop out and go to Cosmo School and not go to college. Like, I felt like college, the 4-year experience was so stressed, not amongst only just my mom, but amongst school and my environment that I was growing up. Everyone was talking about college, and it felt like the right thing to do. And so, in hindsight now, looking back, I think I actually didn't want to go to college, but I just wasn't in tune with myself. But now I'm in tune with myself. So now I can make that decision. But before then, I didn't. So by my mom's thinking, just like, well, then why didn't, like, thinking that, and it wasn't strictly her fault. It was also just school, friends, peers, teachers, like, all of the above. My environment around me was influencing me that college is the thing. But that wasn't really what I wanted. And, my mom, all I wanted for my mom was that, I hope that goes well for you with the nail thing, practice makes perfect, something encouraging. But instead, she's so angry at me because I did not go to school for something that I wanted to do in life. I guess apparently if I went to Cosmo School in the beginning, she wouldn't be mad. But I'm like, anyway, Cosmo School doesn't give you clients, experience. Pushing yourself and getting your name out there actually does, and you don't need to go to school for that. And I did go to school, and I actually learned a lot of value. I maybe didn't learn, like, how to dye hair, but I did learn a lot of, like, soft skills as far as organization, leadership skills, problem solving skills that I wouldn't have learned if I didn't get the actual experience from being in college. I've also learned a lot about psychology, a lot about mental health, and it's also helped in part heal some of my wounds as a child of emotional abuse and neglect. So I don't regret going to college. I don't regret getting my master's degree. And say like this creative thing doesn't work out. I can always use my degree. I just hate how my mom doesn't see me as a person. And that is why I'm thinking about going low contact with my mother. Because every time I see her, she just always puts me down and makes me feel like she does this with her words. And she's so damaging with her words, and she makes me feel that I have no encouragement. Like, all I just wanted her is just to encourage me on my new journey and just kind of explain that I don't want this 9-to-5 life. And maybe I should have said that initially and not came back out with this statement. I didn't even want to go to college. Because now she thinks that I knew that from the beginning, but I didn't. And this has been years of abuse and emotional manipulation. And my mom just yells at me and doesn't give me space to think and articulate my thoughts in a way that's going to make sense to her. So then I bite back. Because I'm just tired of being abused, even as an adult. I'm a person. But to my mom, I'm a property. Because I'm an extension of her. And I'm just so tired of not having a voice. And that's part of why I started my YouTube channel. Because even though you guys don't know much about me, I feel so seen when my shorts get views, or when, things. I saw my YouTube video got 22 views on my last view, and I felt so good. That felt so good. Like, even a small handful of people. I've never had 20 friends. It's so sad to say, but I was always the girl that ate lunch in the bathroom, that never had a group of friends. I was always boy obsessed and would get into these abusive relationships. And so the fact that people are listening to me gives me so much joy that you guys don't even know. And so I thank you guys for subscribing and being on here with this journey with life, being here in this journey with life with me. It really makes me sad. It makes me sad for my younger self because I never had a voice. But I can always change this. And I just want to inspire people, whether if you're having a midlife crisis and trying to figure out what you want to do, I really hope you have a good support system. And if you need to find a therapist to be your support system, they definitely will, because they see, with you talking, they see what your true passions were and can encourage you and give you that support that you've never had. My partner is also really supportive. He is also an entrepreneur, so that also gave me inspiration in wanting to do this whole creative thing. He's not really much of a creative, but he is an entrepreneur and has given me inspiration to do my makeup business and my nail business. But yeah, if any of you have parents that are like me, that are like mine, or that are like my mom, and that are not supportive, you're having a midlife crisis, and a quarter life crisis, I should say, and they don't get it. They don't understand why you don't want to work a 9-to-5 job. They just care because they care that you're not going to school for what you went to school for. I mean, they just care that you're not getting a job for what you went to school for because of their own image. If you have parents similar to that, because I know it's not a lot of people, but I would love to find community and people that can relate to my experiences and know that I'm not alone. I'm wanting to go low contact with my mom because it gives me more peace of mind. It gives me my ability to find myself deeper, and I'm actually more mentally stable when I don't see my mom all the time and for long periods of time. And I want to protect my peace. I have a son. And now, guess what? The only leverage my mom has against me is my son. So she said, okay, since I want to be rude to her because, I was getting mad that she was yelling at me, and I did tell her to shut up, which I do feel bad about. I really do. I should have just then we're level-headed. But how can you be level-headed when somebody's yelling and screaming at you in a car about the decisions you make in life that you're happy with, about you pursuing something that you actually want to do? It's damaging to my mental capacity, and for a whole day I did nothing because I was just so out of it. But yeah, I'm gonna show this clip, and I just hope that you guys can relate or find any relatability in this, and we can encourage each other, because I know that you can do it and you can achieve whatever you want to do. It just takes discipline, it takes consistency, it takes determination, but I know you can do anything. And I'm showing this clip of me, very emotional, raw state, as a learning experience, and to be real, because I feel like not a lot of people are real about mental health, about how parents and how the way you grow up is damaging towards your self-identity, towards your self-esteem. And I want to normalize. It is hard to go no contact. So I'm not saying, go no contact, whatever, but, if you feel like that's necessary for you, I support you. And I also support you if you choose to go low contact. I just hope we can band together and fight to break generational cycles of abuse. I love you guys, and I hope to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Bye-bye.